Hey everybody, this is JMPLGT4, and I'm about to give you guys my Big 12 predictions for the 2010 season. I'm gonna be doing several videos over the next couple of days. Tonight I'm gonna give you guys the Big 12 overall. I might break it down into another video here afterwards with Big 12 North and Big 12 South, how I think those uh, prospective divisions will do within themselves. Um, Start off with the Big 12 overall. Um, I'm just going to preface this by saying that I am an Aggie, as you can see. So, I don't want to hear any people coming on here bullshitting and basically just telling me, oh, well, you're an Aggie, so you're going to pick them to do really well this year. I've been following the team throughout fall camp, and I think they honestly have a good opportunity to do some stuff this year. They just need to become a little more consistent in certain aspects. But anyways, here's my Big 12 overall prediction for this year. I think overall, I think either OU and maybe A&M has a chance to go number one this year in the Big 12, and then number two obviously is going to be either OU or A&M, followed by Nebraska, then Texas, then Missouri, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Baylor, Colorado, Kansas, and Iowa State. Those are my predictions for this year. I think out of all the teams in the Big 12 this year, OU probably has the most solid, the most proven team out of any of the other Big 12 schools coming back. There's no denying it. With Landry Jones, he's got a year under his belt. He wasn't doing all too bad. He had freshman blues, and even then, they weren't quite that bad. He had a pretty decent year last year. As many of you know, we got Ryan Broyles, I believe that's the guy's name, for OU, wide receiver, outstanding wide receiver, and he's already this year been selected for several end of the season awards. So you got to look out for him. He's going to be a player that's going to definitely impact that OU Sooner football team this year. I'm going to do OU and A&M in tandem since I'm picking them to be number one and number two in the Big 12 overall this year. A&M, we got, last year we played, I believe it was 17 freshmen at one time, and this year we got all those guys coming back. We lost a good majority of our offensive line. That's going to be something scary. It's a big question mark in my mind at the moment. I just want to see them play a few games before I actually stamp it as a valid point. But we had some pretty highly touted recruits, probably the best offensive line recruiting class in the nation, as many experts have said. I think that the defense is going to shape up all right. I think we're going to be all right on defense. We got new defensive coordinator Tim Baruder. So far, I like what I see from that guy. He's come in, and we're moving from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense, and it seems that he might expose some different elements into our defensive scheme that could possibly wreak havoc against a pass-happy Big 12 conference. I'm excited about what he brings to the table this year. So that's why I think we got OU and A&M. Of course, we got A&M. We got a stout offense. I mean, probably I know that Yahoo picked A&M to have probably the most solid specialty cores out of the receivers, the running backs, things of that nature, in the Big 12 this year, if not the country. We got, Jeff Fuller, Zoma Wachiku, easy. Ryan Tannehill. We have our running backs, um, Cyrus Gray, Christian Michael, and I think they're gonna be pretty solid this year. The big question is going to be what that offensive line can do. Can they stand up against a strong defensive line, such as OU can present, and can they open up gaps for those running backs to run through, and in essence as well, can they hold back that defense from getting back to Gerard Johnson? Um, so those are some question marks, but I think they'll be all right. We'll have to see as the season goes by. But we'll move on to my number 3 pick, Nebraska. They're going to be solid this year. The only question that I have with Nebraska currently is the quarterback situation. A lot of people in the country are saying that their defense is going to be just as stout, if not better than it was last year, and I can honestly say that I believe that. The only question, like I said, how about that? How about that quarterback position? What is Zach Lee going to be the starting quarterback, and if so, can he be a little more consistent and maybe be a little bit more efficient and maybe put more points up on the board? We'll move on to my number 4 pick, which is Texas. Can't really say much about Texas. Yeah, they're A&M's rival. I get it, but you can't ever underestimate Texas. I just don't think this is going to be their year. I'm not trying to put them as number 4 because I'm an Aggie and I want them to be higher than the Longhorns. But what I honestly think, I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done this year. They got a 4-game stretch: Texas Tech, UCLA, Nebraska, and OU. That is one hell of a 4-week schedule. I think they have a bye week in there someplace, but still, that's 4 games in a row. They're going to have some pretty stout competition. Texas Tech not so much, but you never know between those teams what happened a couple of years ago, whenever Texas Tech barely beat the Longhorns, and then it's a mess, and you can never really tell whenever those two teams get together. And UCLA, yeah, they haven't been so good as of late, but I've seen improvement, and I think they can pose a potential problem for the Longhorns if they don't shape up during that game. And then, of course, Nebraska. Everybody's talking about that from last year, the Big 12 championship game, whenever Texas won the game with 1 second left on the clock by a field goal or less. I don't even remember what the score was, but I know it was within a field goal point spread. And then, of course, you got OU and Texas with the Red River rivalry. That's always a big game. There's no doubt about it. So that 4-week stretch, and then of course A&M at the end of the year, I think is going to pose a potential problem for Texas. As, in my opinion, the reason why A&M lost to Texas last year was because Colt McCoy, he simply slaughtered A&M. He was able to scramble, move his feet, and was able to produce massive amounts of yards by himself, and that ultimately was the cause of A&M losing that game against Texas last year. They don't have Colt McCoy this year, and that's what I'm saying, is I don't think they can replicate that sort of offensive production with Garrett Gilbert. I don't think that offensive line will be able to protect him as much, and I don't think he's that type of quarterback that has some wheels on him, can scramble and pick up yardage in a critical situation like that. So Texas number 4. Missouri, I know there's a lot of talk about Blaine Gabbert. Missouri, I've heard a lot about them the last few years, and I just don't ever see them getting it done. Oklahoma State, they lost Zach Robinson, they lost Des Bryant, several other players, although they do have some that are coming back that are pretty good. I think there's a wide receiver named Anium who's pretty decent. I don't see them doing all that much this year. Texas Tech, I think they got new a new coach, Tommy Tuberville. I think he's going to end up bringing some good, solid foundation to the Texas Tech program that doesn't solely focus that on strictly offense. He wants to bring light to the defense as well, and I think that's going to be good for their program. But I'm not going to say that this is going to be a rebuilding year for Texas Tech, because they definitely do have the weapons there to wreak havoc with it among the Big 12. I think the issue with Texas Tech is going to be the fact that they're having to adjust to a new program. I think I'm going to call this a transition year instead of a rebuilding year. It's not going to be a rebuilding year. It's just a transition year. So Kansas State, we got Bill Snyder. He's been doing some good stuff up there in Manhattan, but I mean, I think his quarterback is just about. I think they got a quarterback and maybe a running back or wide receiver who's really good. He can really put up some good offensive numbers, but I just don't see it from Kansas State this year. You can't have one or two guys without a supporting cast that can assist you in winning big games and putting wins on the board. And I think Kansas State, they definitely don't have that sort of team. And I don't think they're going to get it done this year to be ranked any higher than the number 8, I believe, is where I have them slated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. Next we go to Baylor. I know there's a lot of talk. Robert Griffin, he's coming back. He's healed up. He's ready to go. I know Art Browse has been doing some good work over in Waco, but I mean, again, you can't have one player bringing up a whole team, holding up a whole team. Would that be awesome? Yeah. If that was the case, I'm sure more programs would try to find that one select player instead of having to go try to recruit a whole team of players to make a team a good team. Just think about the position they had themselves in last year. Same thing they were talking about this year is what they were saying last year. Oh, Robert Griffin is going to be so good. Baylor Bears, you better watch out. They're going to be good. What happens if it happens again this year and he gets injured? They're going to be back in the same predicament, in my opinion. So I'm not expecting much out of Baylor. I have them at number 9. Colorado, Dan Hawkins is a joke. He basically, I heard something the other day, a report on, I believe it was ESPN, College Football Live. He actually asked the he asked the Board of Regents or whoever it is to extend his contract. Are you kidding me? I think he's been there 4 years. They've won 16 games. He asked for a contract extension. That I cannot believe. That's just crazy to me. I mean, in the whole thing, there's no promise of Colorado, none whatsoever. I don't expect much out of Colorado at all. Kansas, we have a new coach, Turner Gill, coming in. I think he's gonna take Kansas in the right direction. I think it's gonna be, again, as I said, for Texas Tech. I don't think it's going to be a rebuilding year. I want to say that it's probably going to be a transition year. Then Iowa State, you can never really expect too much out of them. That's why I have them at number 12. So that's all I got for now. I'm going to break it down next with the Big 12 North, Big 12 South, and then eventually I'll have an A&M video up for their predictions overall each game. And then I'll also have another video coming out after that of their game this week. This JMPL GT4. We'll see you guys later. Gig 'em. Saw 'em off short. Bleeding Maroon forever. See you later.